I almost did not check my phone when it pinged late at night. I was sleepy and ready to ignore the message, but then I saw the number 5589 right next to XRP. Suddenly, my heart started beating faster. It was just a small 5-digit number, but it made me feel excited. That number is the reason why big companies and rich investors are now opening new doors in the crypto world. Because of that, I spent the next 2 full days moving my money around very quickly. I was buying and arranging things in a hurry. Before I say anything else, I want to be very clear. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies like XRP are very risky and can go up and down a lot. You could lose all the money you put in. You should always do your own research and talk to a real financial professional before you invest. Your investments are completely your own responsibility. Nothing is ever 100% guaranteed when it comes to investing in crypto or any other thing. Neither I, this YouTube channel, nor YouTube itself will be responsible for any money you lose. This video is only made for entertainment and educational purposes. It is just to share my personal story and thoughts. Please do not treat it as any kind of recommendation. Okay, let me tell you what happened that night. Picture this. It is 1 in the morning. My laptop screen is glowing in the dark room. My coffee cup is sitting there getting cold. I am tired but still awake. Then a friend sends me a direct message with a tweet from a person in the crypto community known as J4B1. The tweet was short and mysterious. It said, May 19th, get 5,589 XRP before the floodgates open. There was no chart, no long explanation, and no thread. Just that one simple line. I have been in crypto since 2017. I have seen many wild and crazy predictions during that time. People always say, this coin will go to the moon, or buy now, or regret forever. Most of the time those predictions turn out to be just hype. But this time something felt different. The number 5,589 was so exact and specific. It was not a round number like 5,000 or 10,000. Because it was so precise, it stayed in my mind and would not let me sleep. I kept thinking about it again and again. So I decided to dig deeper and find out what was really going on. After some research, I realized that J4B1 was not just creating random excitement or moon boy talk. He was actually pointing to a real and important event that was about to happen. The event was connected to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, or CME for short. The CME is a very big and famous exchange where professional traders and big companies buy and sell futures contracts for things like corn, oil, gold, and many other assets. They handle trillions of dollars every year. Now, this same CME was getting ready to list XRP futures contracts. When big institutions start trading futures of a cryptocurrency, it is usually a sign that more serious money is coming in. We have seen this pattern before. First, futures get listed, and after some time, spot ETFs follow. This exact thing happened with Bitcoin, then with Ethereum, and even with Solana. So when I heard that CME was adding XRP futures, my attention went up, but my skeptical side started asking questions. Okay, this sounds good, but why the exact number 5,589? Why not 5,000 or 6,000? I needed to understand the reason behind this specific figure. Let me take you back a little bit to my own past experience. This will help you see why this number felt important to me. Many years ago, during my first big bull run in crypto, I managed to buy 2,000 XRP when the price was around 40 cents each. I felt very smart at that time. I patted myself on the back and thought I was like a young Warren Buffett. Later, I sold all of them at $3. I was happy with my profit. But then the 2021 bull run came and XRP went much higher. I was left watching from the side, feeling regret because I had sold too early and missed a lot of gains. That experience taught me a painful lesson. Since that time, I have kept a mental checklist in my head. This checklist contains signals that usually appear before a cryptocurrency gets big adoption from serious players. Some of the important signals are regulated futures trading, interest from big institutions, lots of liquidity, and headlines that make normal everyday people start talking about the coin. When the CME announced XRP futures, it was hitting almost every box on my checklist. That made me pay close attention. Now let's come back to the magic number, 5,589. It is not just some random or lucky number from numerology. It actually comes from practical and simple math. At the time when I saw that tweet, the price of XRP was around $2 and a little more. If someone wanted to buy 5,589 XRP at that price, it would cost roughly $12,000. $12,000 is the kind of money that can buy an old used Honda Civic with some miles on it. It is not super cheap, but it is also not extremely expensive for many working people. This amount is big enough that if XRP price goes up a lot, the profit can really change someone's life. At the same time, it is small enough that regular people do not have to choose between paying rent and buying crypto. They can still manage their daily life. That is why the number 5,589 felt smart and balanced to me. So what did I do next? Like always, I sat down and did some quick calculations on a piece of paper like napkin math. I imagined different possible future scenarios for XRP. First scenario, suppose a spot ETF from a company like WisdomTree finally gets approved by the SEC after going through all the paperwork. And suppose XRP follows the same path that Bitcoin took after its ETF was approved. If XRP gets even 30% of the money inflows that Bitcoin got, some analysts say the price could reach around $22. In that case, your 5,589 XRP would be worth almost $123,000. That is enough money to buy a nice new Audi car. Second scenario, some crypto YouTubers and analysts have a more optimistic view for this bull cycle. They talk about a full liquidity supercycle and predict that XRP could reach $50. If that happens, the same 5,589 XRP would be worth $279,000. That is the kind of money that can buy a Porsche and feel like midlife celebration money. Third, and most optimistic scenario. If someone's big moonshot prediction comes true and XRP somehow reaches $100, then 5,589 XRP would be worth over $558,000. That is life-changing money for many families. Of course, I must say again that all these numbers are completely hypothetical. No one can predict the future with certainty. These are just possible examples to show the potential. But I also want to be honest with you. Futures listings do not automatically mean big profits or guaranteed success. We have seen examples in the past where things did not go perfectly. For instance, when Litecoin futures were listed on the CME, the price went up at first and almost doubled. But after some time it dropped sharply. Many people who bought at the top lost money and blamed the market. So we must remember that history can rhyme, but it does not always repeat exactly the same way. Still, one thing is usually true. Once big institutional doors open for a cryptocurrency, they rarely close completely. The real challenge is not whether Wall Street will eventually approve spot XRP ETFs. The bigger challenge is whether normal everyday investors like you and me will freeze because of fear or overthinking. Many people suffer from analysis paralysis. They keep waiting for the perfect moment or more confirmation, and by the time they decide, the big price move has already happened. I felt that same fear myself on May 18th. I was sitting in front of my screen looking at the buy button and questioning my own sanity. Should I really put money in right now? What if I am wrong? That kind of doubt is normal in crypto. Our whole community struggles with this question: how to take action before the big headlines and excitement start, not after everything has already pumped. To feel more confident, I started looking for real confirmation outside of Twitter and hype. I checked on-chain data from Glassnode. The futures open interest chart was clearly going up since the first day of CME listing. Some professional derivatives research firms like Levitas reported that institutional block trades on XRP contracts increased by 38% in the very first week. That is a strong sign of serious money coming in. Even Bloomberg, which is known as a serious and trusted news outlet for big investors, published a headline saying, "CME opens floodgates for Ripple's token." When mainstream media starts using words like Ripple's token instead of calling it a controversial or risky altcoin, it shows that the overall sentiment is slowly becoming more positive. But even with all these positive numbers, a small voice in my head kept asking, what if this turns out to be another bull trap? I have been burned before, so doubt is natural. That is exactly why I value community discussion. Our free educational Discord server, there is a link in the description below, works like a 24-hour think tank. New beginners and experienced traders come together there to discuss every small on-chain movement and news. It costs nothing to join, and it helps you avoid staying stuck in your own echo chamber of fear or excitement. I highly recommend you check it out. Now let me talk a little about how to actually buy and hold such a bag of XRP. One silent problem in crypto is fees. If you jump between many different exchanges trying to save half a cent here and there, you can end up paying more in fees than you save. I used to do that a lot. Then I discovered Blowfin Exchange. It made things much easier and cheaper for me. Quick disclosure, the link to Blowfin in the description is an affiliate link. If you sign up using that link and start trading, this channel earns a small commission. It does not cost you anything extra. That small money helps keep the channel running and pays for my late night coffee during research sessions. But if you do not want to use the link, that is completely fine. Just make sure you compare fees wherever you trade. Okay, back to the story. May 19th finally arrived. I opened the CME dashboard and saw the XRP futures ticker showing green across the board. Within just a few hours, the open interest went above $50 million. That was bigger than the early volume we saw for Ethereum futures. My group chat started exploding with messages. People were sending screenshots of their positions, sharing funny memes of the Ripple logo riding rockets, and celebrating. I was smiling like a kid at a carnival. But even while I was happy, I stayed careful. I kept scanning the order books and watching for any big whale movements, because in crypto, nothing is guaranteed. What goes up can come down quickly. Then came an unexpected plot twist. The SEC announced another delay on the WisdomTree XRP ETF application. As soon as that news came out, Twitter filled with panic. Many people started shouting, "Rug pull," and "It's over." The price of XRP dropped about 8% in a short time. My DMs started filling up with messages from worried people asking, "Should I sell now?" At that moment, it felt like we were at the top of a roller coaster just before the big drop. But I remembered the history of Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. Bitcoin had 12 different delays before it finally got approved. Ethereum went through the same kind of long waiting and repeated delays. The market usually ignores all the paperwork delays and reacts strongly only when the final approval signature comes. The lesson is clear. Regulators often create uncertainty on purpose. It looks unpredictable, but the pattern is actually quite similar every time. So instead of panic selling, I chose to do more research. I looked at how Bitcoin ETFs collected $38 billion in just the first 3 months after launch. Even if an XRP ETF gets only a small portion of that money, say 10%, it would still mean billions of fresh dollars flowing into XRP. Right now, the total market cap of XRP is around $120 billion. When new money comes in, it can move the price significantly because the market cap is not extremely huge compared to Bitcoin. Some simple math shows that $1 billion of new inflow can have a big multiplying effect on the price. Even if we are conservative, the impact can be large. At the same time, XRP has real-world utility that many people ignore when they only look at price charts on TradingView. The Bank for International Settlements published a paper in March. It showed that pilot projects using XRP for cross-border payments were able to reduce remittance friction and costs by more than 70%. That is actual useful technology, not just speculation. When you combine three powerful things, real utility, improving regulation, and growing liquidity from institutions, it creates a strong foundation. The 5,589 XRP plan sits right in the middle of this foundation. It is not a crazy to-the-moon gamble like some meme coins. It is a reasonable human-sized position based on the idea that history often repeats in crypto, but this time with better rules and more serious players. Of course, we must never forget the risks. There are many of them. Ripple could face more legal or operational problems in the United States. Global financial markets could slow down if the overall economy gets bad. Even if everything goes well, success itself can bring new challenges. For example, when ETFs arrive, big players start hedging their positions, which can sometimes reduce the size of price spikes. If you feel scared or emotional when the price drops even 20%, then you should buy a smaller amount. The rule is simple. If a normal swing makes you panic, you are probably investing more than you can comfortably handle. In my opinion, staying calm is very important. To remove emotions from my own buying, I started using automation. I set limit orders that automatically buy a little more XRP on every small dip. It is not exciting, but it is a calm and methodical way to build the position slowly. After many days of this, my wallet finally showed exactly 5,589 XRP. Seeing that number felt special. It was like crossing a personal finish line that most people have not even noticed yet. Let me say it again clearly. I am not a financial advisor. When people ask me, will XRP 10x? I honestly do not have a crystal ball. No one does. But holding a piece of real blockchain infrastructure feels more logical and safer to me than hoping a random meme coin suddenly explodes. If the positive scenarios we discussed earlier come even close to reality, that $12,000 investment, the Honda Civic money, could grow into something much bigger, maybe enough for a house down payment, without needing a miracle lottery win. But again, everything is hypothetical and depends on many future events. Before I finish this video, let me give you a simple mental checklist that you can think about. CME futures for XRP are now live and showing good liquidity. Spot ETF applications are moving forward even if slowly. Institutional adoption is increasing step by step. We see banks like Santander testing it and SBI offering services in Japan. The crypto community's belief and conviction is stronger now than it has been since the 2018 bear market. When you stack all these positive catalysts together, even a modest investment of around $12,000 starts to look like it has an attractive risk-reward balance. Of course, nothing is guaranteed, and you must only invest what you can afford to lose. In our Discord call last night, we had a good discussion. The main takeaway was this. Markets usually punish hesitation and waiting too long more than they punish small mistakes or early guesses. Many people who missed buying Bitcoin early were not enemies of crypto. They were simply undecided and kept waiting for more proof. So my final advice is simple. Decide your own target, whether you want to aim for 5,589 XRP or a smaller or bigger number. Choose a size that fits your life and risk comfort. Then stick to your plan with discipline. If you want to learn more about XRP on-chain data or crypto in general, please join our free Discord server. The link is in the description below. It is completely free and full of helpful people. If you enjoyed this video and my personal story, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching this late-night crypto rabbit hole with me. I hope it gave you some things to think about. Stay safe, do your own research, and take care of your finances.